Paul Bernardo was denied parole today, his second failed attempt since becoming eligible in 2018.
As Lisa Hafner reports, the notorious killer is still deemed a high risk to reoffend, and his words to the parole board today only reinforced that opinion.
Paul Bernardo told the parole board today that his 30 years of solitary confinement was too cruel a punishment, causing him stress, anxiety, and suicidal thoughts. He argued he should be transferred to a lower security institution or halfway house. Bernardo says in the late 1980s and early 90s he was a male chauvinist pig who was sexually violent out of a sense of entitlement to women's bodies. My infliction of abuse was always to coerce and punish, not for sadistic pleasure, he explained. He says he's learned to control his urges in the last couple of years, although agreed with a parole board official that he hasn't had the opportunity to kidnap, rape, and murder young women while in prison. Like Kristen French, who wasn't yet 16 when she was walking home from school in 1992 and encountered Bernardo and wife Carla Homolka in a church parking lot. They forced her into their car. Kristen's mother told the parole board today that time doesn't heal. It's excruciating, she said. The pain is a life sentence. Leslie Mahaffey was 14 when Bernardo grabbed her from her Burlington neighborhood. Through her lawyer, Debbie Mahaffey spoke of her daughter's body being found in pieces of submerged concrete and how she had to be unburied after Kristen French's murder to confirm they had the same killer. 3 decades later, the families have to return for a parole hearing every 2 years to beg that Bernardo not ever be released so long as he lives. It feels like another exhumation, another violation, another loss, Mahaffey's lawyer read from her statement. Bernardo's parole officer testified that the offender has made no progress in prison and remains a high risk to reoffend. Bernardo did not seem to understand. Everyone is saying lack of empathy, but it is not even my risk factor, he told the parole board. I have a lot of empathy for what I did. He said he'd still need medication to stifle his deviant sexual impulses. He realizes his notoriety would limit his ability to find paid or volunteer work upon release. Even a church. They might not want me in a church. I don't want to think about that, Bernardo said. But I believe I can overcome that challenge over time. I believe there are people who would be my friend. After about an hour, the board returned to tell Bernardo his request for parole was denied. Lisa Hafner, CHCH News.